welcome back to PERLA'S DREAMS. Aquarius, this is your reading, and again, guys, these are general readings, so only take whatever resonates, and please leave the rest. Um, there is there's this energy of like somebody really. You're dealing with somebody in your life, Aquarius, during this time that has created a lot of drama or has created a lot of unnecessary tension between you and others or something like that. There's somebody that likes to create chaos. It's almost kind of like you know where they've been based on the drama, the chaos that was left behind. And they're somehow wanting to blame you for something. Somebody's trying to bring you into some type of trauma, or somebody's trying to get you in the middle of some type of trauma. So trauma or drama, oh my. Okay. Okay. For some of you, because I'm like, wait, I was saying drama, and then all of a sudden it was like trauma. For some of you, you may have dealt with this person like romantically, or maybe you were really close friends with this person. This person was in your life for a very extended period of time. You trusted this person. You were vulnerable with this person, whether they were a friend or a lover or whatever. And it's like you may have had a very traumatic experience with them. Somebody that was really like, they were gaslighting you, they were manipulating you, they were being like emotionally abusive is what I'm hearing. And now this person is still trying to hurt you even though they're no longer in your life. So this person may be talking ill about you, they may be trying to ruin your reputation or something like that, but they're trying to drag you down to their drama. And you're just kind of like sitting here like, wait, what the? Because I haven't seen this person, I haven't talked to this person in like 3 4 months. Like, why is my name coming out of your mouth at this moment in time? Like, why? And that's kind of like the energy that I'm picking up. So a lot of you are, this is the way that I look at it. If somebody comes up to me and says so and so said this about you, my question to them is, why did so and so feel comfortable to come and tarnish my name or come and talk trash about me to you? And with that, our relationship ends. Because if somebody's coming to me and saying, oh, so and so came and said this and this and this about you, then you're opening, you are, that means the you, meaning the person that is coming to tell you, is allowing this or is inviting this. And they do not value you as a friend. And these are things that people really need to start like noticing. So like, if somebody comes up to me and says, oh, you friends, and I'm just using any name out there, are you friends with Maria? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm friends with Maria. Oh, you know Maria? No, I don't care what you got to say about Maria. If you have some type of issue, if you have something that you want to say about her or to her, you go ahead and you say it to her face. I'm not hearing it. And I'll be very quick to tell, like, no, I don't want to hear you talking crap about somebody else. Because I'm going to be the same friend that I am in front of someone's face is the same friend that I'm going to be behind their back. And that's kind of like what you're realizing during this time is like, whoever is coming back to you to tell you that somebody is saying something or somebody is doing all of these things, ask yourself if the things are being said directly to this person, why is this person that is quote unquote your friend allowing the space for somebody to come and talk trash about you? So during this time, like, again, I feel that because like when I was walking here, like I felt the water, like even though it wasn't dripping, I felt water like dripping all over my hand, like completely, like it almost kind of felt like the sorrow type of energy. And it's like, You know, Aquarius, sometimes you have to realize that not everybody that you've kept in your corner, not everybody that you've kept close to you have always had your back. And during this time, unfortunately, you're going to realize who has who has had your back and who has been stabbing you in the back this entire time. And this is all again in connection to somebody that you dated or somebody that you were really close with in the past. So however it is that this is going to unfold for you, um, just ask yourself if you still want these individual or this person that is bringing things back and forth to you. Do you still want them in your life? um Sometimes it's hard, right, to walk away from certain connections, to walk away from certain people, but at the end of the day, if this individual or having this person around your life, all it's causing is drama and all it's causing is chaotic energy, then is that a space that you really want to be in, right? So we get used to whatever it is. Like sometimes when you're used to being in chaos, and this is kind of like one of those things that I always like, I reflect on a lot. Like for a very long time I lived in survival mode, and what that meant was that I was, my body, everything was always like in a survival mode. Like whenever I achieved something or whenever I accomplished something, it was very much like short lived, right? Because it was what I needed at that moment in time to survive. And throughout the years, I've looked at my life and I've like reevaluated. I'm like, wait, I'm no longer there. Like I'm not surviving anymore. And I really need to intentionally, right, look at where I am in life and who it is that I'm keeping in my life. And if there are people in my life that are still within that space of survival, right? And they're bringing that energy and they're bringing that frequency towards me, then I need to set boundaries, whether that is I keep this person at a distance or I disconnect myself completely from that person because I am no longer living in that space. Now, when you set boundaries or when you disconnect or whatever it is, it doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't try, right? So, like, if I recognize, okay, this person is still living in survival mode, I was there, I recognize what this looks like, I recognize the dialogue, whatever it is, I'm gonna extend my hand and I'm gonna offer my help. And I'm gonna be like, hey, or if they come towards me and be like, hey, I see that you got out of this. How did you get out of this? I need to get out of this situation. This is not. I'm gonna extend my help. But if I give the advice or I give that help and the person just looks at it and doesn't do anything, doesn't follow through with it, then there is nothing that I can do for that person. Because I cannot carry that person to success. I cannot carry that person to freedom. And that's where a lot of you need to realize during this time, Aquarius, especially when people are showing their true colors to you, is that you cannot do, it's almost kind of like you cannot heal, you cannot change people, you cannot, oh, excuse me, you cannot do any of these things for people. All you can do is bring the awareness or the advice or the guidance, right? But if they choose not to, then at some point you have to say like enough is enough, and you have to be okay with walking away from these individuals, from these connections. So during this time, Aquarius, for you, this month is about um realizing, or like it's almost kind of like spirit is going to make it plain and simple of like which are the connections that you need to sever, which are the connections that need stricter boundaries, and then you have to decide what you're going to do within those spaces. I keep on hearing like a siren call, like a siren bell, like in movies and stuff when you have like a town that's gonna be flooded, or there's like a hurricane or a tornado and they have like these alarms that go off in the town to warn people of what is coming, right? The destruction that's coming, so that they can seek shelter and stuff like that. I keep on hearing that in the background of your reading, and it's almost kind of like this sense of like, the spirit is warning you, or showing you who these people are, so that you can release yourself from them. So like, the taking shelter is like kind of like the removing yourself, like the um that having the separation between you and these individuals. So we have the Eight of Swords in the reverse with the Five of Coins. We have the Queen of Cups in the reverse with the Hanged Woman in the upright. It's funny, all of these first cards came out in the reverse. The Two of Coins and then the Ace of Wands. So again, there is a sense here of like, Spirit is going to make it very clear for some of these connections, some of these people that are causing the drama, and things like that. This is It's almost kind of like, sometimes when you're not 100% sure if somebody is a friend or an enemy, and you kind of keep them like a friend of me or whatever. This is going to be very cut and clear. There's going to be no more guessing on your part. There's going to be no more doubting on your part. This kind of reminds me of like a situation that I had recently where there was a conversation that got out of hand, and I was still trying to wrap my head around like how this got out of hand, because other people got involved in the conversation that were not meant to be involved. And and it was something that spiraled out of control, and I just sat there for like a minute, and I was like, okay, uh what was this, right? And then slowly, like, spirit started to show me like how things started to unfold and how things started coming to light in regards to that situation. And I was just kind of like, my mind was kind of like, wow, I never expected that from that person. But the way the spirit showed it to me is like, it all makes sense of what was happening behind my back, right? How this person actually was behind my back versus how who they were presenting, or they were pretending to be in front of me. And and regardless of where you are in your journey spiritually or whatever, there's always certain situations that you think you are above, or you think that are never going to happen to you. And it's like, it's kind of a way of like spirit humbling you, like, you know what, you need to pay a little bit more attention on this, like, you know what, you need to pay a little bit more attention to these energies, to this frequency. And again, this whole part of life and things is all about like the experience, right? The learning, the growing through it. And every time I see these things unfold in my life, uh, my response to it is completely different than what it would have been 3 4 years ago, right? 5 6 years ago, I would have been reacting, I would have been in a very different space than I am now. And the reason why I say that is because spirit is trying to get you to a place where you learn to respond to things without having to react. So there's almost kind of like, the way that I look at it is like, when we first begin, right, we're reacting to everything, and then spirit puts this awareness in ourselves of like us reacting, but we're realizing that we're reacting after the fact, right after the fact. So then we're able to kind of like soften things up, or like kind of like fix things up or whatever. And then it gets to a point where you just learn to respond, where there is no reaction. Like, you see, it's almost kind of like you see the storyline unfold in front of you before it does, and you're just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna allow this to just happen, because it is what is meant to happen. And that's what was happening when I was having this conversation, and someone else kind of like jumped in, and it was like a two against one type of thing. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm watching it unfold. And part of me there's still a part of me that wanted to react, and then the part of me that is like, no, we're in this response, like, this is what is happening, this is how it's unfolding. And I just sat there, and I allow it to play out, and I just kind of like, oh, that's what it was, right? But that is something that comes with that trust that you have in spirit. That is something that comes with that, with the process of learning and really allowing yourself to be guided by spirit, instead of being guided by your own ego. And for you guys during this month, Aquarius, the fact that people are trying to drag you into their drama, or people are trying to drag you into their BS, is so that you have that, so that you're able to have that discernment within yourself when it comes to the people that you're choosing to keep around, the people that you're choosing to connect with. And I hope that makes sense. I know you guys, some of you guys keep seeing my face here and there. I'm fingers crossed that by the end of the summer, hopefully, I can have my space ready for readings. I just have a lot going on and haven't really, we haven't really gotten to the basement, finishing that up. So, and again, May is like super busy, so I know I'm not going to be doing anything in regards to that. But let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card. So yeah, you guys get a little glimpse of my face here and there. Fingers crossed that by the end of the summer, I can be, my face, it will be back on the screen. And we'll be going back into like longer readings and things. So let's go ahead and Aquarius, what do we have for Aquarius? Message, oracle message for the closing message, the closing message, Spirit. We have the bitch fire. Stand up for yourself. Yes, 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 yes. And how we stand up for ourselves is different in every situation, right? There's no better way to say it. Someone in your life is trying to burn you at the stake. Maybe you didn't give them something they wanted, or you didn't let them get away with their bad behavior. Either way, they're trying to ruin your reputation. Rest assured, your reputation will stay intact. Silence can be effective, but this is not the kind of situation. Get loud and let them have a taste of your bitch fire. So make sure that when you are, and this is what I'm talking about, like, there's a reaction and then there's a response. Make sure that you are responding to these individuals, that you are responding to the situation, and you're not reacting. When we react, we let our feelings and our emotions take over. And when we respond, is coming from a place of understanding and making, like, you're still standing your ground. So it's not necessarily the fact that when you're responding to something, the other person has won or anything like that. It is just you're coming from a place of really understanding where it is that you stand in the situation, where it is that the other person stand in the situation, and what the situation in itself is, right? So this is not so much like, I look at responding more from like a logical aspect of things instead of just an emotional one. So during during this situation, you're confronting someone, confronting someone that wants to bring you into their drama and things like that. Make sure that you're showing up with receipts and not coming from an emotional standpoint or an emotional place only. Well, guys, that is all that I have for you at this moment in time. As always, guys, thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.